running on for 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm so lucky. Life is so good. And the fire alarm turns on every 5 minutes. But that's just that. We have to deal with it. Yeah, man. Yeah, but I guess that's life. Pass of Exile 6. Maybe it's 5, because actually yesterday's wasn't even worth. Well, I didn't even stream yesterday. Okay. Right, well, I saw some interesting things about the stuff. We'll be listening to Andrew Tate. You have to believe you're the man.
People will constantly tell you to not talk in a way which is full of conviction. People do not like you to be arrogant and have an ego. This is the worst thing ever. Let me tell you a fact, the number one facet of a G mindset. Your life is never going to be worse if you walk through the world believing you are the fucking man. You wake up, you look in the mirror and go, I'm the fucking man. I am the man. There's no one on this planet who can do shit I couldn't do if I put my mind to it. I don't give a fuck how good you are at piano. If I decide to play piano, I would be better than you at piano. Yes. And I believe that. I don't just say these things, I fucking believe them. And when you go through life believing you really, really are the man, there are very few downsides. The downsides are everyone's gonna call you an arrogant, everyone's gonna call you arrogant, everyone's gonna call you a dickhead, everyone's gonna say he has a big ego. You're gonna lose a few loser friends. Who cares? What you are gonna gain is other people on the same path. You're gonna gain other people who think, yeah, well, I'm the fucking man too, this guy's the man, let's make some money. That's what's gonna happen. So the first thing you can do with your G mindset is you need to start believing you are the fucking man. Even if you're not the man yet, even before I was world champion, I knew I was gonna be the man. So I don't give a fuck. And I was happy to say that to anybody. When people called me arrogant and stupid and deluded, I just sit there and look at them and say, yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna be the man. First thing you have to believe you're the fucking man, you can achieve anything. And when I say that, I'm gonna say that again. Yeah. You have to believe you're the fucking man, and you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'm not saying you can achieve anything easily. I'm not saying it's not gonna take a whole bunch of work. I'm not saying it's gonna happen quickly, but you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'll tell you something now, I don't give a fuck if it's being an astronaut. I don't care about climbing Mount Everest. You give me enough time to train, I will get it done. I know that for a fact because I know who I am as a man. That's the first thing. The second thing is, you need to be perspicacious. You need to understand that in this world, there's a whole bunch of people doing amazing shit that you are not doing. And that needs to piss you off. Because if it pisses you off, you become motivated all of a sudden. I was the only one who was pissed off when that Aston Martin was next to me and had my sales job. I was the only one who was pissed off when I saw that Ferrari drive past. Other people were not annoyed by it. When they're not annoyed by it, they're not driven to be it. You understand? They're not driven to be where that person was. You need to be annoyed, and I'm telling you to be angry. Anger is a fantastic force. Like I said, the world tells you not to be arrogant, it tells you not to be angry. It's two things it tells you to do. Don't be arrogant, don't have an ego, and you don't have anger. You're a fucking man. You're a full-grown man. It's perfectly fine for you to be pissed off. It's perfectly fine for you to look around at your life, look at the girl you're fucking, look at the house you live in, look at the car you drive, and get pissed off and go, you know what, I want a hotter bitch, I want a fucking nicer house, I want a faster car. There's nothing wrong if you take that anger and you direct it in the correct direction. This is the reason I stopped fighting now. People go, why do you stop fighting? That's because I fought and I went through hell to get everything I now have. I had nothing when I fought. I had nothing. And I wanted the life I now have. Now I wake up in one of my 3 mansions with one of my 7 supercars and one of my 15 women. What do I need to fight for? People have different motivations for different things. There's some fighters out there who fight for other reasons, My motivation was I was pissed off at the world. And now I'm not as angry as I used to be, so I don't believe I'm as good a fighter as I used to be. I'll still whoop some ass, but I'm not as good as I used to be. So that's why I decided to retire early. But this is the second thing. First thing, believe you're the man. Second thing, you need to get angry about your situation. And you don't own the home you're in, get pissed off. If there ain't a Ferrari on your drive, get pissed off. If you don't have 10 Playboy Bunny level beauties, get pissed off. What the fuck? You need to sit there and realize, whoa. I have a few years of consciousness, and even less than that, I have a few short years as a young man, because age will damage you. I mean, if you're a millionaire in your 60s, it's not nearly as good as being a millionaire at my age. I became a millionaire at 28. So you need to realize you've got a few short years as a young man, you're fucking wasting them. You need to sit there and go, fuck, shit, get angry. Because getting angry, forced, directed anger is an extremely powerful force. These are the first 2 things you can do for a G mindset. This is the third thing, and this is a very, very important thing, because I try and explain this to people and they don't seem to understand it, so I'm going to make this very, very blunt. Nobody, absolutely nobody, gives a fuck about you as much as you're going to have to give a fuck about yourself. Nobody cares about you as much as they need to care to fix your life. Even your parents, even your friends, even all the people who think they care about you, they care about you, yeah, sure, there may be 2 or 3 people on the planet who genuinely care about you. But nobody is going to come to your bed, drag you out of bed, fucking drag you to a job, force you to work hard, go and get you a hot bitch and go and buy you a Ferrari. Nobody is going to do that for you. You are never going to have any of the things you want if you do not get them yourself. Nobody cares about you enough to do it for you. This is absolutely true. The only person who gives a shit about your life truly is you. And if you don't give a shit, then you're fucked. But point 2, get angry, you're going to start giving a shit very soon. And after you get angry, you need to realize that nobody is going to give you the things you want. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump is president or not. I'm a huge Trump fan, but it doesn't make a difference. No politician is going to make you rich. No one else is going to come along and say, I'm going to concentrate my effort on fixing your life. Nobody. You have to understand you are out here alone, absolutely alone. And when you understand these 3 things, you start to see how a mindset comes together. Nobody's going to save you. Fuck. It's totally down to you. You're pissed off with your current situation and you want to change it. Plus, you believe you can do absolutely anything. This is how I thought at 18 years old. Because at a very young age, when I had my prime resource of energy and power at 18, 19 years old, I understood those 3 tenets. I believe I can do anything. I'm pissed off I don't have the life I want. And nobody else is going to give it to me. These are 3 things you need to understand. If any one of these elements is missing, you'll never have the right mindset. The G mindset will never formulate if any one of these elements is missing. All 3 are absolutely essential. And the sooner you get your act together, the sooner you start to panic and worry and be concerned that you're 24 or 25, you're not fucking rich yet. There's 24 and 25-year-olds out there who got a contract for a fucking NBA or their parents or they won the lottery or who knows what. There's 24 and 25-year-olds out there who are multimillionaires fucking the hot models. These Instagram girls with 3 million followers, they're getting dicked by someone and it ain't you. And that needs to piss you off. You need to get concerned. You need to get worried. You need, shit, I'm running out of time. You need to get some urgency in your life. Put these 3 things together is absolutely essential. This is the beginning of the G mindset. When you have these 3 things totally done, I'll tell you what happens. I'll tell you what happened for me. So I became a sayer. So my brother used to say, you've become a sayer. And what that means is I made a pact to him that my word was unbreakable, strength and honor. And that if I said something, I meant it. So I'd wake up in the morning and I'd say to my brother, I'm doing 1,000 press-ups today. Once I said it, once I spoke it, it's like a genie, it became true. If I said I was going to do 1,000 press-ups, I'd do them. Because if I didn't do them, I'd feel guilty within myself that I was the kind of person who talks shit. Because G's don't talk shit. So the 3 tenets we've already learned, when you've instilled these in your mind, you don't want to be the kind of person who talks shit. So if I woke up to my brother and said, I'm doing 1,000 press-ups, or I'm running 20 miles today, I would do it. Because if I didn't do it, I'd feel like a dickhead. Because when you instill these mindsets, when your mindset changes, you start to be extremely accountable for yourself. No one's coming to save you. You become extremely accountable. So when you realize that your word is one of the few things you have on this planet, if you say things, you're going to start sticking to it. So then it becomes very easy to train. You say, I'm going to train every day this week. I'm going to train for 2 hours a day. As soon as you said it, it's basically done. If I say something, it's basically done. It's set in stone. If I say something, I'm going to do it. There's no way I'm going to say some words and speak them into existence on this planet. And then I'm going to be the kind of pussy who quits because it's too hard. If I say I'm going to do 10,000 push-ups, I'm going to do it. Because I'm the kind of person who sticks to the words he says. And this is another thing you need to understand about genius. You be very, very specific with what you say. Because if you can instill your mindset correctly and you start to just say things, just start saying things. Then you hold yourself accountable. Say things you don't even think you want to do. Wake up and go up to your friend or your mom or whoever and say, you know what? I'm going to do 1,000 push-ups today. Say it to people. And they're going to say, no, you're not. So watch me. And then you have a choice. You're either going to succeed like a G or you're going to be a little pussy. You're going to quit at 310 because it's hard. What kind of man are you? That's a decision you need to make. If you're the kind of man I was, I'd say shit and I'd fucking stick to it. My brother said, you become a sayer. I used to train with my brother. He'd say, let's do 500. So let's do 2,000. He'd say, you've said it now, so we have to do it. So exactly. I said it now, so now we have to do it. There is no surrender. We have to do it. This is another facet of the G mindset. This is number 4. You've got to start saying shit, and your word has to be iron, unbreakable. This translates across everything in life. It's not just training, it translates across everything in life, even relationships. I say to my girlfriend, stop fucking with me when you're out the house. Men say that all the time in arguments, and then they continue to argue for 2 hours. They'll say that, and then they'll argue. If I say that, and she continues to talk shit, I start throwing her shit out the fucking door, because I said it. And if I say something, I mean it. If I look a man in his eyes and say, I'm gonna whoop your ass, shut up, and he continues to talk, I have to kick his ass. I'm careful with what I say. If I tell him to shut up and he doesn't shut up, that's a different thing. If I say shut up, I'm gonna whoop your ass, and he continues to talk, I will fuck him up. Because I'm the kind of person, if I say something, I mean what I say. I'm specific with my language, and I mean every word I speak. This is another test. This is number 4. You have to start meaning every word you speak. You say to someone, I'm gonna get rich. You better fucking do it. Otherwise, you're a liar. You're a liar, and you're a little bitch. You say, I'm gonna put some muscle on, you better fucking do it. You say, I'm gonna lift this weight, you better fucking do it. You say, I'm gonna go get this girl, you better go get her. You gotta be the kind of person who says things and means them. You promise a guy you're gonna whoop his ass, you better whoop his ass. Don't be a person. 99% of the people out here talk shit. They say things they half mean, or things they don't mean. If I say something, I fucking mean it. And this is number 4. This is the 4th element. You've heard the first 3. This is number 4. Everything you say, you must mean. And once you implement that correctly, then you get the ability to motivate. People will constantly tell you to not talk in a way which is full of conviction. People do not like you to be arrogant and have an ego. This is the worst thing ever. Let me tell you a fact, the number 1 facet of a G mindset. Your life is never going to be worse if you walk through the world believing you are the fucking man. You wake up, you look in the mirror and go, I'm the fucking man. I am the man. There's no one on this planet who can do shit I couldn't do if I put my mind to it. I don't give a fuck how good you are at piano. If I decide to play piano, I would be better than you at piano. And I believe that. I don't just say these things, I fucking believe them. And when you go through life believing you really, really are the man, there are very few downsides. The downsides are everyone's gonna call you an arrogant, everyone's gonna call you arrogant, everyone's gonna call you a dickhead, everyone's gonna say he has a big ego. You're gonna lose a few loser friends. Who cares? What you are gonna gain is other people on the same path. You're gonna gain other people who think, yeah, well, I'm the fucking man too. This guy's the man, let's make some money. That's what's gonna happen. So the first thing you can do with your G mindset is you need to start believing you are the fucking man. Even if you're not the man yet, even before I was world champion, I knew I was gonna be the man. So I don't give a fuck. And I was happy to say that to anybody. When people called me arrogant and stupid and deluded, I just sit there and look at them and say, yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna be the man. First thing you have to believe you're the fucking man, you can achieve anything. And when I say that, I'm gonna say that again. You have to believe you're the fucking man, and you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'm not saying you can achieve anything easily. I'm not saying it's not gonna take a whole bunch of work. I'm not saying it's gonna happen quickly, but you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'll tell you something now, I don't give a fuck if it's being an astronaut. I don't care about climbing Mount Everest. You give me enough time to train, I will get it done. I know that for a fact because I know who I am as a man. That's the first thing. The second thing is, you need to be perspicacious. You need to understand that in this world, there's a whole bunch of people doing amazing shit that you are not doing. And that needs to piss you off. Because if it pisses you off, you become motivated all of a sudden. I was the only one who was pissed off when that Aston Martin was next to me and I had my sales job. I was the only one who was pissed off when I saw that Ferrari drive past. Other people were not annoyed by it. And they're not annoyed by it, they're not driven to beat it. You understand? They're not driven to be where that person was. You need to be annoyed, and I'm telling you to be angry. Anger is a fantastic force. Like I said, the world tells you not to be arrogant, it tells you not to be angry. It's 2 things it tells you to do. Don't be arrogant, don't have an ego, and you don't have anger. You're a fucking man, you're a full-grown man. It's perfectly fine for you to be pissed off. It's perfectly fine for you to look around at your life, look at the girl you're fucking, look at the house you live in, look at the car you drive, and get pissed off and go, you know what, I want a hotter bitch, I want a fucking nicer house, I want a faster car. There's nothing wrong if you take that anger and you direct it in the correct direction. This is the reason I stopped fighting now. People go, why do you stop fighting? Because I fought and I went through hell to get everything I now have. I had nothing when I fought. I had nothing. And I wanted the life I now have. Now I wake up in one of my 3 mansions with one of my 7 supercars and one of my 15 women. What do I need to fight for? Like, people have different motivations for different things. There's some fighters out there who fight for other reasons, you know? But my motivation was I was pissed off at the world. And now I'm not as angry as I used to be, so I don't believe I'm as good a fighter as I used to be. I'll still whoop some ass, but I'm not as good as I used to be. So that's why I've decided to retire early. But this is the second thing. So first thing, believe you're the man. Second thing, You need to get angry about your situation. And you don't own the home you're in, get pissed off. If there ain't a Ferrari on your drive, get pissed off. If you don't have 10 Playboy Bunny level beauties, get pissed off. And what the fuck? You need to sit there and realize, whoa. I have a few years of consciousness, and even less than that, I have a few short years as a young man. Because age will damage you. I mean, if you're a millionaire when you're 60, it's not nearly as good as being a millionaire at my age. I became a millionaire at 28. So you need to realize you've got a few short years as a young man, you're fucking wasting them. You need to sit there and go, fuck, shit, get angry. Because getting angry, forced, directed anger is an extremely powerful force. These are the first two things you need to do for a G mindset. This is the third thing, and this is a very, very important thing, because I try and explain this to people and they don't seem to understand it. So I'm going to make this very, very blunt. Nobody, absolutely nobody, gives a fuck about you as much as you're going to have to give a fuck about yourself. Nobody cares about you as much as they need to care to fix your life. Even your parents, even your friends, even all the people who think they care about you. They care about you, yeah, sure. There may be 2 or 3 people on the planet who genuinely care about you. But nobody is going to come to your bed, drag you out of bed, fucking drag you to a job, force you to work hard, go and get you a hot bitch and go and buy you a Ferrari. Nobody is going to do that for you. You are never going to have any of the things you want if you do not get them yourself. Nobody cares about you enough to do it for you. This is absolutely true. The only person who gives a shit about your life truly is you. And if you don't give a shit, then you're fucked. But point 2, get angry, you're going to start giving a shit very soon. And after you get angry, you need to realize that nobody is going to give you the things you want. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump is president or not. I'm a huge Trump fan, but it doesn't make a difference. No politician is going to make you rich. No one else is going to come along and say, I'm going to concentrate my effort on fixing your life. Nobody. You have to understand you are out here alone, absolutely alone. And when you understand these 3 things, you start to see how a mindset comes together. Nobody's going to save you. You're fucked. It's totally down to you. You're pissed off with your current situation and you want to change it. Plus, you believe you can do absolutely anything. This is how I thought at 18 years old. Because at a very young age, when I had my prime resource of energy and power at 18, 19 years old, I understood those 3 tenets. I believe I can do anything. I'm pissed off I don't have the life I want. And nobody else is going to give it to me. These are 3 things you need to understand. If any one of these elements is missing, you'll never have the right mindset. The G mindset will never formulate if any one of these elements is missing. All 3 are absolutely essential. And the sooner you get your act together, the sooner you start to panic and worry and be concerned that you're 24 or 25, you're not fucking rich yet. There's 24 and 25-year-olds out there who got a contract for a fucking NBA, where their parents say they won the lottery, who knows what. There's 24 and 25-year-olds out there who are multimillionaires fucking the hot models. These Instagram girls with 3 million followers, they're getting dicked by someone and it ain't you. And that needs to piss you off. You need to get concerned, you get worried, you get shit, I'm running out of time. You need to get some urgency in your life. Put these 3 things together, it's absolutely essential. It's the beginning of the G mindset. When you have these 3 things totally done, I'll tell you what happens. I'll tell you what happened for me. So I became a sayer. So my brother said, you become a sayer. And what that means is I made a pact to him that my word was unbreakable, strength and honor. And that if I said something, I meant it. So I'd wake up in the morning and I'd say to my brother, I'm doing 1,000 press-ups today. Once I said it, once I spoke it, it's like a genie, it became true. If I said I was going to do 1,000 press-ups, I'd do them. Because if I didn't do them, I'd feel guilty within myself that I was the kind of person who talks shit. Because G's don't talk shit. So the 3 tenets we've already learned, when you've instilled these in your mind, you don't want to be the kind of person who talks shit. So if I woke up to my brother and said, I'm doing 1,000 press-ups or I'm running 20 miles today, I would do it. Because if I didn't do it, I'd feel like a dickhead. Because when you instill these mindsets, when your mindset changes, you start to be extremely accountable for yourself. No one's coming to save you. You become extremely accountable. So when you realize that your word is one of the few things you have on this planet, if you say things, you're going to start sticking to them. So then it becomes very easy to train. You say, I'm going to train every day this week. I'm going to train for 2 hours a day. As soon as you said it, it's basically done. If I say something, it's basically done. It's set in stone. If I say something, I'm going to do it. There's no way I'm going to say some words and speak them into existence on this planet. And then I'm going to be the kind of pussy who quits because it's too hard. If I say I'm going to do 10,000 push-ups, I'm going to do it. Because I'm the kind of person who sticks to the words he says. And this is another thing you need to understand with the G mindset. You have to be very, very specific with what you say. Because if you can instill your mindset correctly, and you start to just say things, just start saying things. Then you hold yourself accountable. Say things you don't even think you want to do. Wake up and go up to your friend or your mom or whoever and say, you know what? I'm going to do 1,000 push-ups today. Say it to people. And they're going to say, no, you're not. So watch me. And then you have a choice. You're either going to succeed like a G or you're going to be a little pussy. And you're going to quit at 310 because it's hard. What kind of man are you? That's a decision you need to make. If you're the kind of man I was, I'd say shit and I'd fucking stick to it. My brother said, you become a sayer. I used to train with my brother. He'd say, let's do 500. So let's do 2,000. He'd say, well, you've said it now, so we have to do it. I was like, exactly. I said it now, so now we have to do it. There is no surrender. We have to do it. This is another facet of the G mindset. This is number 4. You gotta start saying shit, and your word has to be iron, unbreakable. This translates across everything in life. It's not just training, it translates across everything in life, even relationships. I say to my girlfriend, stop fucking with me when you're out the house. Men say that all the time in arguments, and then they continue to argue for 2 hours. They'll say that, and then they'll argue. If I say that, and she continues to talk shit, I start throwing her shit out the fucking door, because I said it. And if I say something, I mean it. If I look a man in his eyes and say, I'm gonna whoop your ass, shut up, and he continues to talk, I have to kick his ass. I'm careful with what I say. If I tell him to shut up and he doesn't shut up, that's a different thing. If I say shut up or I'm gonna whoop your ass and he continues to talk, I will fuck him up. Because I'm the kind of person, if I say something, I mean what I say. I'm specific with my language, and I mean every word I speak. This is another tab. This is number 4. You have to start meaning every word you speak. You say to someone, I'm going to get rich. You better fucking do it. Otherwise, you're a liar. You're a liar, and you're a little bitch. You say, I'm going to put some muscle on. You better fucking do it. You say, I'm going to lift this weight. You better fucking do it. You say, I'm going to go get this girl. You better go get her. You gotta be the kind of person who says things and means them. You promise a guy you're gonna whoop his ass, you better whoop his ass. Don't be a person. 99% of the people out here talk shit. They say things they half mean, or things they don't mean. If I say something, I fucking mean it. And this is number 4. This is the 4th element. You've heard the first 3, this is number 4. Everything you say, you must mean. And once you implement that correctly, then you get the ability to motivate. I'm going to tell you my story about Jamaica. I've been to Jamaica once in my life and I will never go there again. So I had some business in Jamaica. I was put in a very nice hotel. When you get to the hotel, they say, we have restaurants, we have clubs, we have everything inside the hotel. Don't leave the hotel. We have everything you want here. And it was fine for the first couple days, but after a while of seeing fat Americans overindulge on the buffet and go into this club, which was garbage, as I'm sure you can imagine. You get pissed off with sitting in the fucking golden prison and you decide to go and explore for yourself. So I said, fuck it. I'm in Jamaica. I want to go find some actual Jamaican fun. I know some Jamaican brothers in London. They're a little bit crazy, and I know Jamaica's a dangerous place, but whatever. I'm a dangerous guy. A bullet probably wouldn't kill me. 5 might, but I can take 1. So I decided to go out exploring in Jamaica. So I go up to the reception and say, I need a taxi. I'm going to do my Jamaican accent. She goes, I can't do it. I'm smiling. She goes, what do you need a taxi for? I said, I'm going to go out and look around Jamaica. She goes, no, don't do that. Stay in the hotel. We have bar in the hotel. I was like, no. So she wouldn't give me a taxi. So I'm like, fuck you then. Reception literally wouldn't order me a taxi. So I walk out the hotel, down the long road, all the way out to the main road. Think I'll find my own fucking taxi. See a taxi. I wave. Dude stops. Be well. I say, bro, I want to go have some fun. He goes, get in the car, man. I'll show you around the island. We have fun. I was like, all right, cool. So I get in the car. He says, what's your name? I said, Andrew. And I go, you? And he goes, Grim. I said, Grim? He goes, yeah, Grim Reaper. And started laughing. And I was just like, ha ha ha. Yeah, all right, Grim Reaper. This is a warning. When a dude tells you his name's Grim Reaper, you should get out the fucking car. But me being my arrogant jackass self, I'm like, all right, Grim, cool. So we're driving. Anyway, Grim's accent was so thick. He had that Jamaican accent, and he spoke in that patois. It was so thick, I couldn't understand the guy. He had this music on, this hard Vibes Cartel, like loud music, and he's talking shit, and I have no idea what he's saying. So he's saying, where do you want to go? And I'm like, bro, I want to party. He's like, what kind of party? You like girls? And I know from being in all these countries, I've been to 72 countries, taxi drivers say, do you like girls? And when you say yes, they take you to strip clubs to get commission. But I also know Jamaica's super homophobic. So I can't say, no, I don't like girls. And I also don't want to go to a fucking Jamaican strip club. So I'm like, yeah, I like girls, but I don't want to go to a strip club. I want to go find some normal girls.
I didn't actually care about girls. I'm not really looking to fuck a Jamaican chick. I just wanted to look around a bit. But you can't say to a Jamaican guy, I don't like girls. You can get shot in the head. He's like, yeah, I like girls, but I don't want to go to a strip club. Anyway, so he starts ranting off. Talking. And he was driving like a fucking idiot. So I'm focusing on the road thinking, maybe I'm going to have to grab the wheel or some shit. This motherfucker's about to kill me. Talking shit. And when he finishes, he pulls out about 5,000 American from his fucking pocket, one of those pockets on his shirt. And he goes, you like that? I have no idea to this day what he said. He must have talked for about 2 minutes. And he pulled out the money and goes, you like that? I like money. So I was like, yeah, I like that. He goes, I party with you all night. I was like, okay, fine. So by saying, yeah, I like that, I agree Grim's going to come party with me. So he pulls up at this club. It's the best club in Jamaica, blah, 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 blah. We go in there. I am mixed race. I may as well have been Ed Sheeran up at this motherfucker. It was black. I'm not being racist. I'm saying it was black. The music was black. The lights were low. You couldn't see nobody's face. It was just black. Everyone in there probably had a gun. Everyone knew the dances. A song would come on. Everyone's doing the same dance. I'm standing there completely out of place. I walk in there, and within precisely 7 seconds, I want to go. And it took only 7 seconds for Grim's stupid ass to order a bottle of Chivas Regal, which I don't even fucking drink. They brought the bottle over to me. I could see on the wall the price of the bottle, but the bill said double, because I'm obviously fucking too white for this fucking place. And Grim just hands me the bill while he opens up the bottle. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I pay for the bottle for Grim. He starts sipping away on this Chivas. I'm sitting there. I'm standing up against the wall so no one can attack me from behind. Just looking at this club, thinking, not only do I not belong here, I'm definitely a little bit intimidated, and there's definitely no fun for me here. There's no action for me here. I don't want to just say to Grim, I'm going, because I need him to drive me home. I don't know where the fuck I am. There's no other taxis outside, so I have to let Grim have his fun. So we hung out for maybe 20 minutes. Grim's punk ass, and listen, if you're black and you're watching this, don't get offended. Black people can't drink. They all think they can drink. Black people can't drink. I live in Romania. I've gone to Russia. White people can drink. You can sit with a Russian man through 3 bottles of vodka. It's fine. As soon as a fucking black person starts touching alcohol, they all start getting out of control and rowdy. That's why they're fucking fighting and shooting each other and shit. This motherfucker starts drinking his Chivas. He must have had about 4 or 5 drinks. Drunk out of his mind. So I say to him, look, Grim, let's go. Why you want to go? Party just starting, boy. I'm like, bruv, I didn't want to leave. I got to go back to my hotel. I got a meeting. Start talking some shit. But, okay, I take you to a better party. You don't like the party here, boy. I take you to a better party. I'm like, all right, let's go. So you get me the fuck out of here. Let's go. So we leave. We get in his car. Grim is drunk. Drunk as a motherfucker. Driving like, putting his face closer to the road so he can see it better. That level of fucking drunk. Grim is hammered. So he's driving the car at like 15 miles an hour. You know Jamaicans take everything slow. This motherfucker was going slow. I'm like, bro, just take me back to the hotel. I'm done with parties tonight. He goes, nah, boy, I think it did the best party on the island. Now it's late. It's party time now. You go out at 10 o'clock. Now it's midnight. Now it's party time. Then all this shit. I was like, all right, fine, fucking take me. Fine, whatever. He was refusing to take me home. I was like, fine, take me to this party. So we're in his car. We're driving. Anyway, we start driving up this dirt hill. Driving up this hill. We're driving up this hill for like 10 minutes. Dirt track hill in the middle of the forest on both sides. And I didn't clock instantly. Maybe it's because I had a few drinks. But then I clocked and thought, this motherfucker's about to rob me. There's no fucking club up here. I'm about to get robbed. I mean, me, Mr. Stupid, wearing my fucking nice watch and shit. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm about to get robbed. I've been robbed before. You know, like, I'm a professional athlete. I can fight, but also I know my limitations. You want to take my shit? Take my shit. Whatever. I don't care. I'll buy new shit. So, there's no ego attached. Most people die in muggings because of ego. You want my phone? Take my phone. If you tell me you're going to kill me, I'm going to attack you. But if you, like, just give me your phone and I'll leave, oh, here, bye. Anyway, so I was like, he's going to rob me. So I was like, Grim, where are we going, bro? We're not going to no fucking club. I ain't stupid. He goes, I didn't say a club, boy. I said a party. And that kind of gave me, you know what, that actually made me feel a little bit better when he said it. I thought, maybe there is a party up here. Maybe I'm fucking freaking out. So we get up to the top of this hill. And it was a party. This was Grim's party. It was 2 rickety-ass fucking street lamps dimly lighting a fucking clearing in this forest. There was an old dude sitting on a cooler, and the cooler had some drinks in it. There was a shitty old beatbox from 1988 playing the kind of ragga shit you've never heard outside of Jamaica. And there was about 20 Jamaican dudes. No girls. That's it. That's the party. Grim goes, we're here. I was like, Grim, let's go. And before I could even say, this is shit, take me home, he'd already stepped out the car and started walking off. So, all right, so what can you do? You can't just sit in the car like a bitch. Everyone's looking at you now because, you know, you've driven up to this party. Everyone's staring at you. So go get out the fucking car. What else are you going to do? So I get out the car. I must have got out of the car about 4 seconds after Grim. After I looked around, analyzed my options, I looked if there's a key in the car, if I could steal the car. I was like, no, okay. Looked on me, what they're going to rob me. If they rob me, I got about 1,000 US. Blah, blah, blah. Analyzed everything in about 3 seconds. Decided the best thing to do was get out of the car. Got out of the car, and within those 3 or 4 seconds, Grim had vanished. Grim is now gone. Like a ghost into the fucking night. I look around, and I cannot see Grim. So it's just me at this party. I'm like, okay. So I'm kind of like, well, where do I stand? What do I do? There's this shed. This shitty shed. And I have the same philosophy everywhere I go. I don't want to be attacked from behind. If you're going to kill me, I need to at least see it coming. So I decide to go stand up against the shed. So I go stand up against the shed. I'm standing there trying to pretend I'm just like chilling. And all the dudes are looking at each other and then looking at me. And Jamaicans, they're not subtle. Jamaicans are not subtle people at all. So they made it very clear what they were doing. They were asking, who knows this guy? Can I rob him? Like, is he a police? Who the fuck is this dude? So they're like, him, you know? Who did it? Like, literally, it's being super obvious. Who the fuck is, if he's your friend, if I shoot him, are you going to be mad? So everyone's talking to each other about me. I'm just sitting there, and obviously as a professional athlete, especially in fighting, you get a poker face. That's your whole job, is you have a poker face. So I sit there and thought, my only thing I can do is keep the poker face on. I have to pretend I don't give a fuck. I got to pretend I'm so comfortable here, I got to have the poker face, like you do before a world title fight. Before a world title fight, you're scared, but you just keep that straight face. So I'm chilling, straight faced, whatever. Anyway, there's these 2 dudes, the 2 biggest guys. I'm 6'3.5". These dudes must be about 6'5", both of them. Wearing the string vests, lean like me, built. They start talking, and they're the ones who are most overtly pointing at me and like checking if, you know, I'm okay to be a target. I can't say for 100% certain because it was about 10 meters out in the dark, but I will say with 99% certainty there was a pistol in his belt. I analyzed him for head to toe, and I looked in his belt, and I saw there's a pistol. If someone would say, would you bet your life on it? I'd say, yeah, there's a pistol in his belt. So I knew this is an unwinnable fight, so I was like, okay. My plan is this. While I was looking at his belt and the pistol, someone started walking down the hill. So I said to myself, next time someone starts walking down the hill, I'm just going to walk with that person and pretend I know that person. And if I can convince that one person not to kill me, then that lowers my odds. Instead of having to convince everyone not to kill me, I was convinced one guy to not kill me. So next time someone leaves, I'm walking down the hill. These 2 dudes are about to fucking attack me. Anyway, I'm literally looking at the hill and thinking that's my plan. And I hear, yo, when I turn to the side, it's fucking Grim. And he stinks of weed. Stinking of weed out of his fucking mind. He goes to me, you having fun, boy? I was like, no. I said, it's all right. I didn't say no. I thought no. I said, it's all right, man. I need to get back. I got people waiting for me. That's what I said. You know, the typical basic tricks, you know. He goes, you want the taxi home? I was like, yeah. He goes, $1,000. It's like 1,000 what, Jamaican? Remember, I paid this guy 10 Jamaican dollars. That's what, like $3 to get this far. He goes, no, 1,000 American dollar. I leave you here with my boys. So it was all a big setup from the beginning. I said, my friend, I've got about $700 on me. I spent the rest on your fucking Shivas. He goes, I'll tell you what. I take you home for $700. I wait outside. You bring me the other 300, or you never make it off Jamaica. I look him in the eyes. I said, Grim, you motherfucker. I said, you know what? Deal. We get back in the car. It wasn't even animosity. We get back in the car. It was like, men understand the reality of the world. I can't be mad at Grim. Grim does what Grim does. I walked into it. I get back in the car. He goes to me, now, he goes, the party not finished for me, boy. Starts putting music on. He's my friend again. Everything's fine. Get back to the hotel. And I thought, okay, I'm at the hotel now. I can not pay him. I can fucking call the police. I can be a little bitch. Like most white boys would do. That's what a white boy would do. I'm being racist now, but it's true. Little bitch-ass tourist. Little pussy. Ooh, run away from the car. Grim tried to rob me. You know what? I have honor. Grim, he pulled a scam, and it worked. And he did save me from basically getting my brains blown out. So I thought, you know what, Grim, here's 700. I said, do you want that other 300? I'll go get it if you want it. And Grim turned to me and goes, don't worry about it, boy. That's enough. Have a good time in Jamaica. It's like, thank you. Well, the end of the story is this. I had one of the guys who cleaned my room. And every time he cleaned my room, because I was in an all-inclusive, unlimited alcohol, I'd give him all the alcohol for my room, because they'd refill it for free. So I'd say, take all the beer, take all the vodka, it's yours. I don't care, because they refill it. And what surprised me, he goes, no one's ever done this for me before. I work here 10 years. It's like, it's free. Why the fuck would I care? Because people are stingy and stupid, whereas I'm not. So this guy, I told him my story. He goes, you are the luckiest man in Jamaica. He goes, you don't know, they kill tourists because if they get caught robbing a tourist, they do the same time as murder. They always kill tourists. They would have definitely buried you in the ground. No one find you for years. They never let you go and give police report. You're the luckiest man in the world. I never am going to Jamaica ever again.
Hi, my car's been stolen. They go, tell me what happened. I said, my car's been stolen. I was in the casino. I just lost some money. I'm at this casino. I'm in central London. The Met Police are now threatening to arrest me to prevent me from fucking chasing my own car through London because it's a public health hazard. I'm going to tell you all a story. I'm going to tell you about the story, the time my brand new Aston Martin got stolen. I only had it for 2 weeks in the most failed society on earth, London. So this story starts with me quitting gambling. I quit gambling. I know, I shouldn't have done that. I quit gambling and everything went wrong in my life. So I quit gambling. I was gambling all the time at this one casino. And I made some money, I lost some money. Anyway, I lost like 15 grand, went back the next day, and I won like 20 grand. And I'm up. And I was leaving, and I saw on the wall, ban yourself, self-ban. And I thought, you know what? Everyone bans themselves from the casino when they've lost lots of money. I'm gonna ban myself when I just won a bunch of money. I'm gonna beat the casino. I'm gonna win the house. So I went there to the manager, go, I wanna ban myself, please. He was like, really? Because he's never seen someone ban themselves after a big win. I was like, yeah, I wanna ban myself. He goes, you just made money, you're gonna come back. I was like, nope, nope, that's what you want, that's what I'm gonna do. No thanks, ban me. Fill out the paperwork, ban myself from my favorite casino in London. The Sportsman, it was called. Banned myself with my winnings, thought I was the G, went home with all my money. I've quit gambling now. I quit a winner, the only man to beat the casino. So I'll fuck around. 1 week later, I just bought this brand new Aston Martin Vantage V8S. There's a picture of it here, you can see, pow. So I'm cruising in my Aston, being cool, like I am. Cruising, I drive past the casino, I can't go there anymore. Do kind of feel like gambling, but I'm banned, so whatever, driving. Then London traffic hits. So I hit traffic, and I hit traffic, coincidentally, directly outside a different casino. So I'm sitting in traffic, there's a casino there. It's like 2 in the morning on a fucking like Sunday night. I don't know why there's traffic. Some road works. London is the most shit city. 2 a.m. on a Sunday, you're sitting in traffic. Sitting there. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Cars ain't moving, casino's there, cars ain't moving. Fuck it. Pull over, go into this new casino. This is where the story gets bad quickly. I go in this new casino, I sit down, blackjack, pow, whatever. I won't tell you the whole story. I lose 6 grand. I come out 6 grand poorer, my car is not there. Now, I parked in a disabled bay. There's like a disabled area. But it's 2 in the morning on a Sunday. There's no traffic wardens. Plus, I'm a G, I do whatever the fuck I want. So I parked there. So when I got out and my car ain't there, I was like, they must have towed my car. They towed it for parking in the disabled bay. Because you can't steal brand new Aston Martins. It's a brand new car. It's an Aston Martin. You can't steal that kind of car. It's not like it's a fucking shit old car. And I'd never had a car stolen before. So I went, I looked at the sign, I called the number up, called the tow truck guy. I was like, hi, you've towed my car. He goes, what car is it? I said, it's Aston Martin. He goes, there's no Aston Martin here. I was like, okay, well, it was in a disabled bay, it got taken. He goes, yeah, we do have a couple trucks out tonight, but maybe they haven't got back to the compound yet. Sometimes it takes them half an hour, 45 minutes to get back here with the car, so give me a call back.
Okay, so
I'm like, picked up my car, they're still in traffic, they haven't gone back to the compound yet, whatever. So I'm sitting in the casino, I've already lost 6 grand. Fuck it, go back, play a little bit of blackjack. I actually won 2 grand of my money back, so I'm only 4 grand down now. Hours gone by, call up my man. Yo, I Aston Martin, I need to come get in. He goes, no, I've called the truck drivers, there's no Aston Martin, we don't have an Aston Martin.
okay,
I'm like, what do you mean you don't have an Aston Martin? You told me to call back. He goes, yeah, but I called the truck drivers, we didn't pick one up, it's not us. So then I was like, are you sure? He goes, bro, the guy on the phone goes, your car's been stolen. was like, you can't steal brand new Aston Martin. Because I get these calls every day. Ferrari, Aston Martin, Lamborghini, someone stole your fucking car. I was like, no fucking way, they stole my car. So I never had a car stolen before, so I call the police. Hi, my car's been stolen. They go, tell me what happened. I said, my car's been stolen, I was in the casino, I just lost some money, I'm at this casino. I'm in central London, 2 o'clock in the morning, central London. I said, it's got stolen. It was bright white lights, as clear as day, and they've stolen my car. It's not like it was hidden, it wasn't anywhere dark, it was on a fucking public road, they've stolen my car. Police officer goes, okay, we're sending an officer right away. I start trying to get the tracker company. I start calling the tracker company to track the car, but because it's like, by now it's like 4 a.m. on a Sunday morning, they're not replying, they're not open, because the car had a tracker. So I go to the casino management, I say, my car's been stolen, I need to see the CCTV from outside the front of the casino. He goes, okay, I'll go have a look and come back to you, da da da. So the manager disappears. So I'm sitting in the bar, and it still didn't sink in. What do you mean my car didn't stolen? Crazy. So I'm sitting there. Eventually the manager comes back down and goes, yep, your car was stolen. And what happened was this. When I got out of the car and locked the car, there was a van maybe 20 meters ahead. And when I pressed the button to lock the car, they somehow picked up the code of the key and a laptop, and they replicated the key code. This is like fucking Fast and the Furious shit. And on CCTV, you see me lock the car, go inside. 5 minutes later, these dudes got in the back of a van, dressed as traffic wardens, dressed with the fucking full uniform, so no one suspected a thing, with a laptop, press a few buttons, the car unlocks. There's 3 of them. 2, one can get in the other side. The third one goes to the back, opens up the boot, instinctively. Goes in the boot, takes out my fucking briefcase, passport, $6 cash, debit cards, a laptop, iPad, my second phone. Everything was in a fucking briefcase in the boot of my car. Guy takes the briefcase, closes it, thing. They sit in the car for another 3 to 4 minutes. Bang, they get started and they fucking speed off. Unbelievable. So now I know my car's been stolen. So I'm sitting there, I call the police back and go, it's been a fucking hour, where are you guys? My car's been fucking stolen, my car's been stolen. We're sending someone. Yeah, it's very busy. So what do you mean it's fucking busy? It's 3 a.m. on a Sunday. Only in London are people getting murdered at 3 a.m. on Sunday. Only in London is there enough crime on a Sunday at 4 a.m. that the police are overworked. So I'm sitting there. I had to wait 2.5 hours for the police to turn up in central London. In the middle of London, the most busy metropolitan area of the great United Kingdom. I had to wait 2 fucking hours. And eventually, guess who turns up? 2 women in a Corsa. 2 females. One was about 5'2". Bro, she was like this big. Had a little hijab on. Little Muslim girl, this big. And then her counterpart was a little bit bigger. These 2 little girls turn up in a fucking Vauxhall Opel Corsa. Oh, hello, Mr. Tate? I was like, who are you? We're the police. Take a statement. Take a statement? I want to take a statement. I want to get my fucking car back. By now, it's almost 9 a.m. I've been calling the car salesman, because I had his personal number, who I bought the car from, saying the car's been stolen. No, it's 7 a.m. I remember, because he woke up at 7 a.m. 7:05, he calls me back, and I said what happened. He goes, okay, I'll find a way to get the tracker activated, da-da-da. So I'm sitting there with the girls, and the car salesman calls me back, goes, okay, we've got the location of the car. It's still in London. We've got the track ID. He sent me the track ID so he knew where the car was. So I said to the policewomen, I know where the car is. Let's go. You know what they said to me? We can't chase your car because it's too dangerous. I was like, what do you mean? Oh, we don't send, in car thefts, because people never stop, we won't send the police to chase them because it's a public hazard. I was like, are you telling me people stole my car and the police won't chase them? London is the most failed society. So I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, we're not chase trained anyway. I said, what does that mean? She goes, oh, well, our car is not prepared to chase and we're not chase trained. I said, why did they send 2 fucking police officers who aren't chase trained in a car that can't drive fast to a car theft? So what kind of bullshit is this? She goes, we're just here to take a statement. Okay, statement, my car was stolen. Done, statement. She goes, no, we need to take a proper statement, and if we take a proper statement, maybe we can get the helicopter out. I was like, okay, fine. So I'm sitting there, I'm fucking frustrated now. So I'm sitting there going, all right, statement, let's go. Let's get this over quick. Let's get the helicopter out, let's find the fucking car. She goes, okay, name? Andrew Tate.
Be well.
Date of birth. I don't have time for this shit. My car's been fucking stolen. What do you mean, name, date of birth, where you live, what happened? I went in the casino and then I came out, my car wasn't there. My fucking car was stolen, you fucking bimbo. I ain't got time for this shit. So, right in front of the police officers, I call my boy and I say, Fahid, get the fucking Ferrari. We're going to fucking chase this car. The police officer goes, excuse me, No, you can't chase it. It's like, whoa, if the police aren't going to chase the car, I'll chase my own fucking car. So I called my boy. I said, he's coming to get me in 15 minutes in his Ferrari. We'll fucking chase the car.
Hello.
You're telling me your car can't catch it. We'll catch it. And they go, no, that's unlawful behavior. She gets on the radio saying, he's going to chase the car, he's going to chase the car. Over the radio, I heard them discussing detaining me. The Met police are now threatening to arrest.
Chat, can there be more than 2 genders? What do you think? This is one of the most viral. This video got shadow banned. It has 43 million views and you can't even find it when you search it. But they still, like, the truth really prevails. I personally think there's only 2 genders, but what do you think? Put the number in the chat.
You know, this is just a series we do where let people know my point of view. There are 2 genders. Go ahead and change my mind. It's the opposite of cable news. We're not going to edit anything out of context. You said you disagreed. I'm open to new ideas.
Well, I'm wondering the phrasing of the question. Are you arguing that there's not more than like man and woman, or are you arguing there's not a difference?
Damn, chat, everybody says no? You know that you're all part of the problem? You're all toxic and problematic? Do you know you're all transformer-phobic?
Sex and gender, or?
Yeah, I think there are 2 genders, male and female.
Okay, so you're saying that male and female is a gender, not a sex.
That's the dumbest argument that these people make. Gender and sex are 2 different things. Sex is biological and gender is a construct. Chat, are gender and sex not just exactly the same thing, just different words? Come on, bro.
Okay, so that's where I would have to disagree.
Okay. How so?
That
Gender is a social construct.
male and female is something that would be like, for example, you probably have a penis, a male sex organ, as would I, but
Why would you assume that?
do you?
But you assumed it, though.
Okay, I did. I apologize.
No, listen.
He's already transphobic and he just started.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do any gotcha.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that you assumed that I have a penis. Why?
What?
Because he looked like a man, bro. Look at this, him having to do mental gymnastics. Why did I assume that?
Because you
Is it because of a societal construct?
yeah.
Because he's a man, bro. Just say it.
That's why?
Yeah.
It wasn't because of my bone structure or my penis bulge.
Hey, yo, bro.
That, male and female is different than being a man or a woman.
Okay.
And the fact that we have, as a society, created man, man and the male gender roles, and just as women gender roles, just as we would.
Chad, did we create those roles, or are they just natural? Is that just what's supposed to happen in every species? Is this something that someone decided and made up, someone wrote legislation for gender roles, or is that just the most natural thing ever?
Anything else the same way that we would say that, I don't know, that music is good, or that we have created it to place people into roles, and so I'm saying that if you were male or female, if you identified more as a man and the gender roles that go with being a man, that you have that.
So you're saying that sex and gender are very different.
Yes.
Okay, I understand. So that's your premise. So that's based on kind of modern gender theory. When did that start?
I would know.
Someone just donated 5 to Steven Crowder's an L. I don't understand why. He speaks facts for the most part. I listen to him. Like, yeah, he's a white dude, and so people like, oh, you're a Trump supporter. But I have the same opinions as these guys, but I don't get labeled the same way as them. I think because I'm not a white dude. It's really easy to label these guys, oh, right, you're...
Okay. So why, let me ask you this before we get to the history. Why do you accept that premise?
Because he was told.
Because it makes the most sense to me. It makes the argument that we've created roles such as being feminine, and we have associated it with being female as opposed to being female is being feminine.
Sure. You understand that there are inconsistencies there. For example, with your presumption of my penis. Let me ask you this then: how many genders are there?
I would say if we would say that there are 2 genders, being man and woman,
okay.
And then that there would be people that don't accept either of those, and that would be in a X or non-identifying category.
But what's the number? How many genders are there?
Infinite amount.
I can tell you.
Isn't that important?
Go with God.
I mean, the point is that before, 1948 with Simone de Beauvoir and then Judith Butler with modern, sort of postmodernism, feminism theory, gender and sex were effectively interchangeable. You can even look on legal documentation, depending on the permit. They are legally interchangeable. I mean, this is the way it's been with societies for millennia. We've had male and female. So when you radically change that, you do have to have a number, in my opinion, and some kind of an end game. It can't just be, well, we're going to shift the rules based on how people feel. So I can understand if someone says, hey,
Well, exactly what we're doing is we're just shifting the rules based on people feel. And that's why people are now identifying as birds, identifying as they, them. These are my pronouns and you must say them. Matt Walsh had a great point. He said, why do you get to declare your pronouns? Do I get to declare my adjectives? Can I just identify as my adjectives are handsome, brilliant? How is that any different from declaring your pronouns?
wrong that there's a difference between sex and gender. But the burden of proof at that point would be on the person asserting that they're different to tell me how many genders there are. Because we as a society, right, have to know this. We have to function within certain parameters.
And I would say that those parameters for gender would be whatever that person wants.
Whatever they feel it to be.
Parameters would be if they identify as a man or a woman or
a bird or a plane.
If they don't identify, that would be their prerogative, and that it's not my place or your place to tell them that they have to identify with being a man, even if they are male, or they have to identify as a woman, even if they're female.
But we do that all the time. People want to be things that they aren't, and we say that's not the case. You know, this is we constantly do that as a society. So I don't understand why it's.
I'm really sorry to interrupt your conversation, but I have some really simple questions for you. My name is Lauren Chad, and I work at Student Activities.
Yes.
We manage the outdoor events request process.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna kick you out because I work at the Student Activity. Shut the fuck up.
Are you responsible?
Look at her chat. What emoji should we spam for her? I'm not saying it.
This activity?
It's college Republicans, actually, and you can speak with Darren, wherever Darren is. He spoke with Drew, and we have a permission. So, thank you very much. So, sorry, I'd like to continue on that thought. Where were we? Sorry, I forgot.
You were talking about we do it all the time.
We do it all the time. So why is it a problem to do it if someone we know biologically is a male or a female, and that can never be changed? It can never be changed biologically. But someone chooses to say that they're not. That's a very modern idea. And the question is, why do we now have to subscribe to that? And then it gets into the idea of
Chat, she's brave! Stop!
Compulsion of compelling language, you know.
I work for the Student Activities Association, and I don't like what you're saying, so go away.
Gender pronouns. What's allowed? What's hate speech, right? It's a fundamental retransformation of society based on, from what I'm hearing from you, unless I'm mistaken, abstracts. I haven't heard a number. I haven't heard what defines male or female, only how people feel. And to me, that's not very convincing or conducive toward a productive society.
And I would argue that we're talking about like you said when I assumed that you had a penis, and I have no idea if you have a penis or not. And
yeah, that was pretty racist of you.
I got a nice big penis there.
Okay, and so that people when people subscribe to being you would say you see somebody that you would presume to be male, and you ask and you would assume that they would identify as being a male.
Sure. As you did, yeah.
Yeah, and so but if you had told me that you in fact don't identify as being a man, that you identify as being
oh my God, bro! Identify me. Blah, 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 blah. This is why people get mad. Like, why are you not patient? Why don't you sit down to have a formal conversation? Because just you hear this nonsense coming out of his mouth.
I would believe that would be wrong of me to try and subscribe you to being a man when you say you identify as a woman.
What if I told you that I believe I am a bobcat?
Well, then I would say that that's how you identify, and that's your prerogative.
Good for you.
Good for you. I can allow that. And just people are you can identify as a cat now. It makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Well, would you accept that? Would it be wrong of you to not accept it?
Yes.
Really? Okay, well listen, I appreciate your intellectual consistency. Why would it be wrong of you to not accept my identification as a bobcat?
Because if you identify as a bobcat, man, go for it. Good for you. I hope you're the best bobcat on the fucking earth.
Even he knows while he's saying it how dumb that is.
Well, I appreciate it. Listen, I think you're a nice guy. I hope this has been productive, and I believe this has been civil. Yeah. But you do see, obviously, this is a very emotive argument that you're making, right? You're making an argument from a very emotional place, and I think it's because you're compassionate, it's because you're a good person. But and I appreciate your
Chad, what do you identify as?
Intellectual consistency. But the ramifications of saying that we have to acknowledge somebody legally who identifies as a bobcat, you understand, would be insurmountable. The ramifications would be all sorts of new legal identifications that would be required, which don't currently exist. Why the conversation? I would love it if you want to sit down afterward, and I would love to sit down and have.
Look at her, bald girl, like, and they're always like, Chad, I know that there's, but it's usually like a mid-white person. I found this correlation with the Transformers and how much identifying they do. It's usually just an average whitey who just needs a personality.
Continue this conversation. Well, thank you, Thomas. Are you done?
Yeah.
I appreciate it, Thomas. Thank you.
Madison, I'm co-president of Spectrum.
How long until she gets triggered, Chad? How long is she gonna last before she gets triggered and leaves? Uh-oh, head of the LGBT organization. Spicy.
Great.
Love to talk to you about this.
Great. Thank you, Madison.
So,
my name's Steven.
Okay.
I appreciate it. You sitting down. And what is it that you disagree with?
So, I think you're confused on the idea of gender versus sex.
I'm confused, okay?
Yeah, okay. So, when we say there are only two genders, we often confuse the idea of gender and sex.
Sure.
Sex is a generalization
And gender's a social construct
of XY chromosomes, so we assume that, or, XY, XX, combination of chromosomes. So we assume that, male and female comes from their chromosomes, right? But that's really just the idea that there's only two
Chad, you ever see Caillou?
possibilities of sex, right? So even within sex itself, you can be born intersex, which means that you're born with.
Bro, there's only I hate this argument because there's literally 4 people who are intersex. Like, you don't need, okay, they can have a different pronoun. If you got a dick and a pussy, fine, sure. But that's 3 people. That doesn't have to, the people I'm they, them, gender fluid, it's them.
Sexual characteristics of both what we would consider male and female. And then you have gender, and gender is more about a mental state based off of societal norms. So within our Western society, we often discuss gender as being binary, meaning that there's 2 options.
Sure.
So boy, girl, man, woman. However, in other societies, non-Western societies, there are more than 2 options.
Okay, can I ask you a couple questions there to unpack? Wrong. Appreciate you taking the time, by the way. So what was your name?
Madison.
Madison. So let's go to the sex concept before gender, I think, because the idea of gender being different from sex is predicated on the idea that sex is binary. That's where you mentioned that term, gender.
I hate that I have the same cut as them, her.
Binary. So you mentioned intersex.
During quarantine, when I couldn't go to the barber, I used to get the same exact cut as them, but now the fade's already growing in. But we have the same cut.
Okay, I'm aware of intersex. Now, of course, intersex doesn't necessarily mean that someone is completely between sexes. Usually they have very identifiable characteristics, like a very large clitoris or micro penis. In that case, it also affects 0.08. People think this is funny, it's just true. Less than 0.08%.
Chad, name one intersex person. Have you ever heard an intersex person? Most of you don't even know what that is. Have you ever even met one? It's a dude with a dick and a pussy, or a girl with a dick and a pussy. And most of the time they just chop it off and choose one.
Of population Earth.
But they still exist.
They exist, so I get to change my gender because they exist. Look at you appropriating intersex culture.
It's in human anatomy class. How many fingers are you taught human beings have?
We're told typically that people have 10. However, there are people.
However, there's other people with 9. Shut the fuck up.
With 11
but you're
fingers.
taught 10, right?
Yeah.
So we don't teach people. There are people born with 11 fingers. There are people born with 12 fingers.
Yeah, but we don't completely dismiss that those people exist just because that they're uncommon, do we?
We teach that human beings have 10 fingers. I would wager that everyone here has been taught, yeah, human beings have 10.
It's such a dumb conversation, but look how everyone's like intently listening. But this is just really, really obvious shit.
Figures, of course, there are anomalies. That's the same way that we treat intersex, or these, as you said, you mentioned chromosomes, genetic abnormalities that are a very extreme case. So I think what we need to do is remove this extreme case with sex, just as we would with how many fingers, toes, how many kidneys you have, how many feet you have. There's something that's typical, there's something that's atypical. Then you go to gender.
Chat, stop putting the pig emoji. She's a queen. They're a queen.
This is where, listen, I'm open. Everyone has said sex is different from gender, and gender is not non-binary. So I would allow you to kind of unpack that for me.
Yeah, so in Western society at least.
Society.
So in our country, in our society, we tend to think of gender to be on this binary spectrum. You don't, well, not even really a spectrum, just a binary. So you have man, woman, and that's it. Those are the only two options. However, gender really is more of a spectrum. So it's non-binary. There are not just two options.
Okay.
You have man, woman, and then everything that doesn't fit into just man and woman is considered non-binary. That's an umbrella term, and that includes a lot of different categorizations.
So how many genders are there?
There's infinite, as many as you want.
You can't put a number on the number of genders.
Called it.
Because everyone uses different words to classify themselves.
How dumb is that everybody uses different words? If everybody uses different words to classify themselves, then language has no meaning.
Disagree. That's where it changed my mind. I'm not convinced that anyone can just use any classification for themselves for their gender, and certainly not that then we have to compel society. To address them this way. Right, I'm sure you can understand that the compelling of language is an issue.
So what gender do you think you are?
Well, I'm a male.
Okay, well I think you're a woman.
No, legally I'm a male.
Oh.
I think you're a woman? What?
It says on my driver's license that I'm a male.
Okay, so that's your sex.
No, it's yeah, I'm also a male.
Sex. It's your sex.
It says on my carrier certificate that I'm a male.
Semantics. That's your sex, not your gender.
Gender. Some legal documentations say gender.
What if I say I don't believe you?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if you don't believe me.
No, it doesn't matter because biologically.
What gender do you think I am?
I have no fucking clue, Caillou.
I would assume you're female.
Yeah, see, you're making assumptions.
Yes.
I identify as non-binary.
I identify as non-binary. It's just mid-white people. It's average-looking white people who just don't look feminine enough, and so they kind of look like a boy. And so instead of just being an ugly girl, they're non-binary.
I don't respectfully. It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Now, let me ask you this: what would you say if I have?
It matters what pronouns you use for me. It matters how I'm socialized in society. It matters my gender.
It matters how I'm socialized in society.
It matters the way that
Bot in the chat, bro.
I'm allowed to express myself. It matters what bathroom I use. It matters who I'm allowed to live with. It affects every aspect of my life. So you saying?
So chat, if I just identify as non-binary, can I go in the girls' bathroom and just look at that non-binary dick, bitches?
What pronoun should I use?
You should use they/them pronouns. So you saying that you don't believe me?
What if I don't?
If you don't, I would consider that disrespectful, and that's actually an act of violence to misgender a trans.
An act of violence? It's an act of violence to not use whatever pronouns she decides. What if I say it's an act of violence that my adjectives aren't handsome/brilliant? What does violent mean? None of these words have meaning anymore. These people literally live in imagination land, bro.
It's an act of violence.
That is an act of violence to intentionally misgender someone, yes.
Here we come to the issue, and this is why I'm out here.
You don't even know what violence means.
You just said that's an act of violence. That means it's an actionable offense. That means it's a crime. So you believe that for me...
I didn't say it's a crime. I said it's an act of violence.
An act of violence.
Okay, an act of violence is a crime, you stupid them.
Things that are not considered crimes are acts of violence.
Okay, so you believe it's a non-aggressive act of violence.
I think that, okay, when you misgender someone, if you were to misgender a trans woman,
yes,
trans women, especially trans women of color, are the most...
It's always a whitey talking about trans women of color. You don't want to shut the fuck up about people of color, bro. Just go back to shaving your head and looking like Caillou.
I have the highest rate of murder within the LGBT community, right? So if you were to intentionally misgender a trans woman, that could put her at risk of murder. You understand that?
What? I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim.
Because people think because you're trans...
I don't understand. I'm
think
sorry,
that
I don't
really
understand.
does show that you're privileged in the situation then.
Yes, I
think that
believe we're both.
I think you're extremely privileged in the situation that you don't have to
You're privileged. See, this is the problem. She can't accept the fact that she's privileged. So she just makes up a bunch of shit to become a minority because she doesn't want to have to work for admiration. She just wants to go find it with her pronouns. You are privileged. You're a white bitch. You're privileged. Your existence is privileged. You have it so easy. But you're just mid and shave your head and now you're a minority. Okay, cool, bro. No, you go back to being white, bro. So, it's not all white people. It's them, bro. Like, what the hell are you?
Experience that, or that you don't have to worry about that, or consider that you don't feel like you need to respect people's pronouns.
I'm considering this and I'm asking you questions. You said these are the pronouns I need to use.
Yeah.
I said, what if I don't? You said that's an act of violence.
Yeah, I would
so
consider
I'm
that
trying
an act of violence against me.
Okay, so that's
I
a
would
crime.
consider that
an act of
Just because you consider it an act of violence doesn't make it an act of violence, dummy.
violence against you is a crime.
She needs Jesus, bro. Thank you, finest guy. She needs Jesus.
I would consider that.
I know it's not just white people. I know it's not, but pretty much. But pretty much. I've never met a non-binary fucking Asian. Have you met a non-binary, like, straight off the border, hopping off the wall Mexican? No, they just get to work. These white people are bored, bro. In the Midwest, they got nothing going on, so this is what they do.
So,
I would consider
do you
you being disrespecting me as a person. And that's not okay, and that's not even ethical. It doesn't matter if it's legal, it's not ethical. And I don't know how you can do something that's considered unethical.
I don't know how you
I can't believe you would say that.
cannot allow me to speak and ask questions based on your own premises. Please, we're trying to keep this civil. I haven't yelled at you. I haven't accused you of
yelling.
anything. You're getting very heated. You said that's an act of violence.
Chat, how long until she gets up and leaves? She's already triggered, but how long until she dips?
That's a crime. Okay.
I didn't say that was a crime.
An act of violence. You said an act of violence against you is a crime. So
I did not say that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Wrong. You said it is an act of violence
I
against
said
you.
it's an act of violence, and I said misgendering anyone's an act of
Yes,
violence.
you said it is an act of violence against that person. That is in fact a crime. So here's my question. Since we've now decided we don't know the number of genders, it's a spectrum. It exists. There is no set number. You've asserted the premise that we are required to use the pronouns that are preferred by the individual. We have no idea how many pronouns there are. We can never know how many pronouns there are. And to not use a proper pronoun
You could ask.
is an act of violence against them. Did you ask my pronouns before you sat down?
Nope! No, you didn't! You fucking toxic, homophobic, racist incel.
No, I didn't ask your pronouns because
Why?
I haven't referred to you with pronouns.
You didn't ask my pronouns, though. You just said you can ask.
Yeah, you can ask. What are your pronouns?
But you didn't ask.
What are your pronouns?
Now she's asking.
You just talked about me being privileged. You understand? No one goes around asking pronouns before they speak with people.
I asked
and
you
so
how
to
you
ask of a
identify yourself.
restructuring of society
I did ask you how you
based on a
identify
number
yourself.
that's
Did I
not tangible with gender versus sex is something that is incredibly corrosive.
Did I not ask you how you identify yourself?
No, I don't believe so.
Yes, I did. I did actually. You said you identify as male, and that would.
After the conversation, sure. Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's say that, sure. So we need to ask pronouns before every person. And if we don't use those
if you don't-
pronouns,
Yeah.
how many pronouns are there?
As many as people feel like it. Ready?
It's the same kind of thing. There aren't like a
Sorry, would you
limited number
just
of
so
pronouns.
people can see the sign? Would it be okay if you just step aside for just a second
no-
there?
there's not
we
a
also have a
limited
camera
number of
going.
pronouns.
Thank you very much. There's no limited number of pronouns.
No, I would
But if
say
someone-
the typical ones are she, her, hers, him, his, her, his.
Okay.
Sorry, him.
Him, who, ha, he, ha, lu, zem, zee, zem, they, them, theirs, kapu, papapu, caillou.
He, him, his, and they, them, theirs. Those are the typical number of pronouns. We usually use 3.
Okay. So I just want to, again, the goal is here to change my, I'm open to new ideas.
Yeah.
There's no set,
Yeah.
different kind of space around us. I think, I don't, no one's being accosted here. We're just having a conversation.
There's no question of accosting. We're just trying to like bring the conversation so that it's not like a.
Look at him trying to silence an open discussion. He's being respectful, and they want this to end so bad. They want to live in their nonsense so bad, you can't even have open dialogue, bro.
Like a separate stage spectacle kind of deal. So like we're all in conversation around, and we can like engage with your sign. And
Sure, I appreciate it. But it's not, though. Actually, it's a conversation between 2 willing participants right now,
I would
and I
be
will
okay with
go.
other people talking as well, though.
I'm not. I don't consent. So,
this is your setup, and we're supposed to just follow your rules. And this.
yes,
Yeah, it's his fucking show, stupid. Make your own. Why are you complaining?
one is invited and we've gotten the proper permission, and I've said,
Open campus.
sure, it's an open campus.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. You can protest, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be engaging in a conversation with the crowd. No, that's not incorrect. But I would love to continue my conversation here. So when we talk about
Bro, he's such a W interviewer, bro. I would have been heated by that shit. That's stupid ass. Like, actually, this is a campus and I can do whatever I want. Okay, but like, he's not doing nothing wrong. He's asking questions, exercising freedom of speech, and she's like, yeah, I would have been already tight, bro.
Gender and sex, right? This is a very new idea. You said in Western society.
It's not a new idea.
Really?
No, it's not a new idea.
So when did gender theory start? When did gender and sex become separate?
Well, they're actually, it's not necessarily the idea of gender theory. It's the idea that there have been different genders outside of man-woman for centuries.
Okay, how so?
Yeah. India.
India.
In
Sure.
India, you know, they have third gender. Native American cultures, they have third genders.
Sure.
In ancient Egypt, they had third genders.
Okay.
You know, so it's a very Western idea to say that there are only two genders and that this whole thing is a new idea changing our
Well, you know what else is a very
society.
Western idea? So it seems to me your presupposition there, correct me if I'm wrong, is that because other cultures have done this, there's a precedent.
Yeah.
Yeah, most cultures everywhere of all time have had two genders.
I don't think that we're hermetically sealed in any way.
So you do realize, and you talked about how very different it was from Western culture. So antithetical to Western culture, you named India.
Chat, WRL, who's W for... Okay, 1 for Steven, 2 for Caillou. Who's winning so far?
Ancient Egypt. You know what else? We also believe in that's antithetical to those cultures. We're against slavery.
Why?
So
I'm sorry. I'm really confused as to why you brought slavery.
Let me.
I'm offended, and that's an act of violence.
Talking about gender.
I would love to bring it up.
Yeah, that's kind of a
My point is, because your premise is because it's found in other societies, therefore it's okay, or it is to be good. My point is there are plenty of other practices. Well, I'm trying to get to why I believe it's harmful, and you're explaining why you don't. But the point is, if something was practiced in another society, and it was harmful in another society, and we agree that it's harmful, for example, we both agree that slavery was harmful. We both agree that maybe cannibalism is harmful. You can find these practices in societies.
Where are the LGBTQs at? Like, where you at, bro? I don't see any twos, man.
My point is, it's not a valid argument to simply say it's been found in other societies if that practice is harmful. So it comes down to the idea of, is it productive or harmful for us to separate the idea of sex and gender?
Like you said, the ramifications for that in legal.
Yeah.
So that's the question.
Yeah, so,
other societies have done harmful things. I think we can agree that doesn't necessarily mean that it's
I'm sorry,
it's okay.
I don't think respecting someone's identity makes that harmful. I don't understand. I don't agree with you comparing gender identity to cannibalism or slavery. That seems pretty offensive.
I know, it seems you think a lot of what I've said is offensive. You've been set up here from the get-go for it to be offensive, and I'm not trying to offend.
Because they only know how to be triggered. They just said in like, I'm right, and I'm triggered, and I can't believe you would say that. And their whole argument tactic is just waiting to call you a racist, misogynistic bigot. That's all they want to do. They don't actually want to talk to you.
Let me re-explain what it is. Take any practice, okay? Take the practice of neck stretching, for example, which is...
You see that crossed arms? Like, yeah, you're a man, and you're...
not harmful, okay?
It is harmful, actually.
Okay, well, some people
Well, actually, you're committing a crime.
don't think it's harmful. They don't think it's harmful in these societies. Take any practice that's relatively benign that we believe to be harmful that they don't believe to be harmful. The point is, just because another society at one point has practiced it, doesn't make it correct. Can we agree on that?
I'm sorry, I think you're making really false comparisons.
No, I'm not.
I do. I think you're
Can we
making false
agree? Can we
comparisons.
agree? Because listen, there are also many...
Yo, chat, rate or fit. Like librarian vibes, like, bro, you're in college, you look like you're 53. Like,
Many societies the other way, right? Who've only ever
No, don't
recognized
remember.
two genders, two
Yeah,
sexes.
but that doesn't mean
That's
that
most.
other genders don't exist.
That's most. So you're implying that those societies were wrong.
I'm implying that they have their other societal standards. Societal standards are based off of a lot of things. It's very intersectional what we decide to accept in society. So if you're going to say, well, because you're
society can be
essentially
wrong.
making the same argument. Yeah, society
Yes,
can be wrong.
exactly.
Society was wrong about gay marriage. You know,
Sure.
I think people are wrong saying that, you know, gay marriage, being gay is unnatural and being gay is a crime.
Okay.
That's society being wrong. But you know what? We adapt to modern times, and I think that
this she's getting heated. She's ready to start throwing hands right here. No debate. She just wants to fight.
But you just compared us to ancient Egypt and India as though that was a valid argument for convincing me why they...
Look at that, how much pressure this is, and he's still staying composed. all these college kids just ready to start a protest right now.
This isn't an ancient practice. This is still going on.
Sure.
In other countries, this is still
But
going on.
you just said it's not fair to use other societal comparisons.
I'm
because we
saying it's
adapt.
not fair to compare
You're the one who
gender
did
to
it.
slavery.
No. I'm trying to get to the
That's
premise of the
literally
argument.
what I
I'm
said,
trying to
is
get to
you
the
can't
premise.
compare gender to
I'm trying to
You can't compare gender to slavery. I'm a victim. Slavery's bad. Actually, slavery's bad. Like, that's not what he's saying, dummy.
get to the premise of your argument here, okay?
The premise
and I'm
of
trying
my
to keep this as
argument.
very respectful as possible. You said this has been practiced in other societies for a long time.
Yeah.
My point is that's not an argument because there have been horrible things, maybe benign things, maybe semi-harmful things in other societies. We would both agree on that. So it's not a valid
Arguing to bring
argument.
slavery back, though.
No one is
That's
arguing
right.
to bring slavery
Exactly.
back.
So why are you?
Well, actually, they are. Of course, it still exists in other countries in the Middle East and some countries that you've mentioned.
Like I said, I don't think you're making a fair comparison. I
Yeah,
think you're
I
kind
think
of
I'm
going.
making a very fair
I think you're
comparison.
kind of just going on a tangent in order to try.
My point is it's not an argument.
It is an argument. I think it's an argument.
Okay, so I will use your
Our
argument.
Western standards.
Yo, shout out to you, Judah.
Okay.
Are not necessarily the pinnacle of what we should be doing. Western societal standards do not mean that we all need to be following the same thing, because we're not all Western and we don't all follow those beliefs. So if a Native American
Of course you do if it's the law. We all have to follow the law.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, the law is different. I think the law is different than a societal standard. So legal
Societal standard.
Well, hold on a second. How is the law different? It is
Just a bad fit. Like, you just look like you suck.
the societal standard legally.
legally, yeah.
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 Let's stay within those parameters.
Okay, sure. So, in there's other countries that are considered Western that would recognize a third gender.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. Okay.
So why not?
So how many genders are there? It comes back to if we're going to
Chat, who does she look like?
if we're going to change this.
Who does they look like? I'm sorry for misgendering you.
Hello.
So we are sitting here talking about gender.
Yeah. So if I were,
Do you hear the feminists fucking just reciting articles right now while they're having a conversation? They're so childish. Talk.
So
As a
this is a
person-
modern theory in the United States, right? Sex and gender were interchangeable. No, I'm going to finish one sentence here, okay? I would appreciate that. You've been very privileged in speaking over me. I'm not convinced, right?
Do you hear in the background? In 2013, Fox News just like they're fucking children.
Up here for you to sit down and change my mind. And I think that's very productive for you to do with other people on campus. I don't think this is a way to change somebody's mind.
I don't think you want your mind changed.
I have had
I
my
don't
mind
think you want
changed.
your mind
Well,
changed.
instead of assuming that, how about actively trying to change it? So my point is, you've mentioned that it's non-binary, but you haven't given me a number of genders and how we restructure society. You've merely pointed out that it's an act of violence to use an improper pronoun. Yes.
Nah, she dead looks like lesbian Peter Griffin. Okay, sorry.
I think that would have, you just talked about a societal standard. If the societal standard is using the wrong pronoun is an act of violence against somebody, I think that's an incredibly dangerous societal standard. And it's one that nobody can uphold consistently. Would we not agree?
Right. I mean intentionally using the wrong gender. I mean, when you know someone's pronouns, you intentionally use the wrong pronouns because you don't agree with them or you don't recognize their identity to be real.
So if I accidentally call you a he because you kind of look like a dude, I'm committing an act of violence.
That's an act of violence.
Chat said she looks like if 11 from Stranger Things ate 11.
Because that's purposely disrespecting someone. No one wants to be purposely disrespected.
Believe me, I
If I called you
understand.
the wrong name all the time, how would you feel?
I would feel very disrespected.
How would you feel?
If you, for example, came in bombastically and other people interrupting. I'd feel very disrespected.
Where does that take us? If someone
Yeah.
uses the offensive pronoun, it's
Yeah, so
violence.
it's intentionally using the wrong pronouns. So if you ask someone their pronouns or they would correct you and say, no, sorry, these are my correct pronouns, and you continue to disrespect them, you have to understand how much that puts a trans person at risk.
Yeah.
So does that person go to directly use the wrong pronoun, or
No,
act of violence?
act of violence, I don't, and I know that you like to say that an act of violence means that it's legally a crime.
It is.
That's not how I'm defining an act of violence.
It doesn't matter how you define an act of violence. This
Okay,
is the thing, we have to have
it
legal
doesn't matter for you
definitions.
to define an act of violence.
I identify as an act of violence.
No, it matters how the law defines the act of violence.
I don't think it does.
You don't think it matters how the law defines an act
know,
of
I do.
violence?
I'm saying that an act of violence does not have to mean that it's a crime. I'm saying that it's
An act of violence against another person, an unwilling participant,
Yo, she just said if it's disrespectful, it's an act of violence.
is in fact a crime legally. There's no way around that. Can we agree on that?
How about
Can we agree on that? Let's find some common ground. Can we agree an act of violence against somebody else is a crime and no one should commit it?
I'm saying no one should commit it. I'm not going to say that it's necessarily.
Oh my God.
Like a
Okay, but it is illegal.
Say something that makes sense for 5 seconds, Carl from Jimmy Neutron.
I'll allow you to assume what you want,
Can
but
I
it is
finish my
illegal.
earlier thought then?
I would like you to finish your earlier thought, but I think this is a very central point to the argument, because this is one of the first things that you've said.
All she has done is just all they have done is interrupt the whole time.
Yeah.
And we haven't found common ground. We don't agree on that. I do find that the idea of...
Yeah, no, sorry, can I hear what she has to say?
Chat, have you also, she just misgendered her. She didn't even ask how she'd identified before asking her question. So chat, who's winning? Has your mind been changed at all by Carl from Jimmy Neutron?
I will.
No, I appreciate. Well, you can sit down afterwards and we'll have a conversation. No, listen. I would like to have a conversation with one person, and then you can all line up and have a one-on-one conversation. But I don't consent. So I'll have a one-on-one conversation.
Have the microphone so that it's not just you shoving them.
It's not shoving a microphone, dummy. It's his fucking show.
Microphone in her.
I'm not shoving a microphone in her.
Jesus Christ, you see how they only know how to be victims? You're literally shoving a microphone in her face. They just victimize themselves with the microphone? It's an act of violence to interview somebody?
I'm simply holding it.
What you're doing. So let her have the microphone.
But you just said...
Let her? It's an A, feminist! You just misgendered her! That's an act of violence!
This is not an equal setup. I've paid for this microphone. This is my microphone. So would you like to have her take your place?
I would like to finish my thought that you haven't let me finish yet, actually.
Okay. Do we have a time code? Do we have a time code?
God, people are just the worst.
I believe it's been about over 30 minutes, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I would like to finish my thought because it actually hasn't been over 30 minutes. It's been less than 30 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
So my thought is that you talk about legal ramifications. How many
Look at him shoving the microphone in her face by leaning in so that she can be audible.
genders are there? Okay, so when you have countries that recognize third genders or non-binary gender options, you know how they put that on their form? Non-binary, other.
Yeah, she's non-binary. They're non-binary. The feminist who was speaking up for her just misgendered her, and they didn't even say nothing about it.
Yeah.
Third gender.
Right.
How is that complicated?
Well, can I tell you how it's problematic?
How is that problematic?
It's problematic because you have people who've been sued, arrested, or put out of business for unknowingly using the improper pronouns, and that's the point that I'm making. There's been you're referring to a societal standard. What can be filled out on a form? Yeah. That's your premise.
Michael, I've connected it to the mainframe. You can hack it to your phone and make sure to text it so you can get the message in, Michael.
I'm saying there's been a societal standard, one that's biologically based, for millennia, which we've now changed, and we're punishing people who don't agree. So you may think it's disrespectful for someone to not use the pronouns that you demand. I think it's equally disrespectful to demand that somebody live in a spectrum that hasn't been agreed to, and they don't even understand.
Look, she's like pouting right now. Why are you frowning, Lester from GTA? Yo, chat, W comparison. I didn't come up with that. I don't know who did it in the chat, but that is too accurate.
What businesses have been put out? Who's been put out of business for not using the right pronouns?
Oh, in the UK, this happens all the time. In Canada, Bill
can
C-16.
you name a specific business?
Yeah, Bill C-16 in Canada is really important. For example, we have comedians who've been put before human rights tribunals
So
for
Canada
using improper
recognizes
pronouns.
a third gender, though.
Canada does.
Legally recognizes
Yes.
a third gender. So
Yeah.
the law is their legal standard. That's their societal standard,
Right.
right? So the people who aren't agreeing with that aren't agreeing with their societal standard.
Right, but it's a societal standard that flies in the
You're not agreeing with my societal standard for Mr. T Lexify.
space of biology.
But
And my issue is,
societal
do you
standard that's legal.
believe that people should be put before human rights tribunals for using the improper... Gender is biology. It was until 1948. You know that, right?
No, I don't agree with you on that. I'm sorry.
Okay, but when did gender theory start?
I don't know the year gender theories.
Like 2 years ago. It's funny, this video came out in 2017, and like it's getting. But now there's birds, bro.
I'm sorry, I'm not a human encyclopedia.
Okay, it was 1948, Simone de Beauvoir and Judith Butler. These are people, by the way, when they started it, there were still only two genders. Gender was a grammatical issue, usually used to refer to as a noun. I'm French-Canadian, so in French we have masculine and feminine.
Right.
It really is a very new concept and one that is not rooted in any kind of biological precedent to say that there are unlimited genders. That's the issue. And so when you are jailing people and punishing people for not adhering to an entirely new system that you yourself that you haven't defined, I do think that that's a problem. I think saying that somebody using improper pronouns is an act of violence against someone, I just disagree. I think that's a real problem, and I would hate to see
it's not disrespectful?
I think it's disrespectful to force somebody to use pronouns
I think
that
it's
are being invented by the day.
If I told, they're not.
Yo, chat, doesn't she look like a strong 6 light 7.
Being invented by the day. I don't know where you're getting that information.
How many genders are there? How many
I didn't
pronouns
say
are there?
that. There.
She's literally transition.
I can't define the number of genders or the number of pronouns. I'm
Exactly,
sorry.
because
I don't know
anyone
how
can
everyone-
determine them. They are being invented by the day.
Yeah.
New genders each day.
So if I told you that I identified as, you know, if I said, hey, I want you
I like the rattling hi-hats.
to use just my name, not my pronouns.
Sure.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
No.
Right. That wasn't hard.
Transition.
Was it?
No, it wasn't hard.
Yeah, exactly. That's what people are asking you to do.
No.
Yeah.
You know, as a matter of fact, you have,
Stuff like
you have a TA, we just had her on the program yesterday, who, on Monday, who got in trouble for using the student's name because a student demanded that he use masculine pronouns even though she was a girl. And he said, listen, I'm not comfortable with that, I will use her
If it's
name.
masculine pronouns, I believe that person would be using masculine pronouns and you just misgendered them.
Yeah.
Also, the feminist defending you misgendered you, dummy.
Name.
You said her.
He used the
You
name.
just said her.
Yes. Yeah, I did, because she's a female.
That's not how that works. I think
That is how that works.
So we established.
That is how that works.
You agreed with me previously that we established previously gender and sex are totally different.
No, I don't agree. No.
How do you know that person's a female?
I know that because of biology, and here's the thing, gender theory.
Did you look at them? Did you
It's just shut the fuck up.
like happen to just like examine them and decide that person's a female because of what you saw? Is there external genitalia?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you genuinely feel that I've been interrupting you more than you? You keep saying you're not able to finish a thought. I haven't finished a phrase.
I think you just finished the phrase.
That was a question, bro.
Do we want to score points or do we want to be? I think you've been interrupting me quite a bit, and you just assumed a premise.
She's been.
That I don't agree with. No, that's my point that I've not been able to make. Is gender theory, as you're describing it, is very new. It started with Simone de Beauvoir in 1948, and what you're discussing is the idea that actually came with Judith Butler. The first time there was this idea that there were more than 2 genders was John Money. I'm sure you're familiar with that case. That's very new. And there's no biological behind this theory. It is based on an emotive response. So I don't agree that gender and sex are separate. Legal documentation sometimes don't say they're separate. We're trying to adapt that now based on how people feel. And I don't think that we should adapt the law considering something an act of
violence. She looks like Walter White before the cancer.
Violence because someone uses a pronoun which is biologically correct because you consider it an act of violence against you.
What's a biological pronoun?
He, her, his.
How do we determine that?
Language, you fucking idiot!
Whether they're male or female.
Yeah, but how do we determine that's... What if we decided that she, her, hers was what we were going to use for males?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We right now,
yeah, right now.
We have male and
right
female,
now. So that's
his or
a
her.
current standard, right?
No, it's a biological standard.
The words that we use are based off of like what we, as a society, use.
As a society.
Yeah,
no, they're reflections.
Linguistics is pretty societally based.
Okay.
Societal.
Amphibian.
What about amphibians?
Is that societally based?
An amphibian is a I don't. You know what? I'm not a science major, but I will say an amphibian is a like scientific classification of an
reptile.
animal. Yeah, it's a classification of an animal species.
Bush, tree, blueberry.
Yeah. Okay.
Are
so
these societal
what's your
terms?
point?
The point is that language is a reflection of standards that we have as a society. Are doctors sexist?
I think some doctors are sexist.
Are doctors transphobic if they refer to their patients who have a penis and they come in for a
Those doctors are committing an act of violence.
It examines
Glasses kid from Polar Express.
The male? Is that doctor hate speaking? Is that an act of aggression?
I think if that doctor misgenders their patient, then yeah, they are being transphobic.
Okay. Well, my mind has not changed, but I think I tried to find some common ground. I'm sorry that we didn't.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madison.
I'm not going to shake your hand.
I figured.
Oh, whoa, you can't even shake a hand? Look at him, you came out on top, bro. Spam L in the chat for fucking bully from bully. Wait. Sorry. Nah, not being able to shake his hand is fucking.
Thurman? Nice to meet you, Thurman. Hey, I'm doing well, Thurman. How are you?
What's your name?
Steven. Nice to meet you, Thurman. Sorry, yeah. By the way, if
Thurman.
you'd like to hold the mic
His name is Thurman.
microphone, you can. She never asked. Okay.
Please say them pronouns.
That was supposed to be, I think.
No, I told you my pronouns and you continue to disrespect me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Okay, the feminist also misgendered you and she didn't. Thank you for disrespecting me. Oh wow. You're just gonna commit an act of violence? Thank you. I'm staying in a place that I don't like. I could be in a class or doing anything else, but I'm staying where I'm triggered.
Okay. Here's the thing. That was actually by accident because I've been using he and her for my entire life. It's not meant as an act of disrespect, and now you see the problem in claiming that's an act of violence against somebody.
Use they, them sometimes.
I'm sure you can establish intent with every person you encounter. Thurman, how are you, sir?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it seems like there have been people who've gotten into a fight at the dinner table, and now we all have to put a good face on. But Thurman, I'm glad to have you here. I'm open to having my mind changed.
Same, buddy. So I'll just break this down for you. Basically,
Yeah.
so I think
I'm
what you
sorry,
guys
I
were
was here.
saying in your last exchange, basically, you guys are trying to establish like sex and gender, which technically are different. And sex usually boil down to more of, reproductive potentials, and gender is like the lifestyle and everything like that.
More societal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's already willing to take part in the theme of the show, change my mind. He's like, okay, let me just sit down and be open-minded. I'm not going to sit and cross my arms and be triggered the whole
I
time.
really don't know what to make of the new like gender standards now, as in terms of like, people just living whatever lifestyle they want. So if, let's say, someone that appears to be, lives a male's lifestyle, I don't understand where we transition to like having new classifications and everything like that. But technically speaking, there are sexuality spectrum and gender spectrum, right? So you have, your typical healthy male, your XY, you have your typical healthy female, XX. So if you have something like Klinefelters, right?
Chad, how much anime does he watch a day?
Now this isn't just, I think there's variations of how many X chromosomes.
Can I say
you have.
one question there?
Yeah.
Why do you say healthy XXXY?
Healthy meaning basically the standard, non-deviant, what people would consider normal.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have Klinefelters, right? Technically speaking, that would be non-binary, and that's not a lifestyle thing.
Chad, who does Thermos look like?
That actually is a biological thing.
Sure.
So
We
you'll
discussed
have-
people who are intersex.
Yeah. So you'll have like, and that's not to say they're hermaphrodites because we don't have that in our species, but they'll have the two X's and the Y of underdeveloped male sex machinery.
I still see your shadows in my room.
It's okay. It's not
I'm
going.
losing
It's
the word.
not.
I'm losing the word.
You're not going to worry. We don't need to censor anything. You can use the right
And
word.
and they can,
We talked about this either. There's some men with like they call it micro penis. It's been used as an insult, but it's an actual term.
Yeah,
What you're referring to,
yeah.
or enlarged clitoris. These are medical conditions as you're discussing.
They have enlarged breasts, smaller, male reproductive organs, high-pitched voices,
Gynomastica.
Yeah. So
Sure.
in that case,
And I'm not disagreeing with that.
yeah. So in that case, yes, there's no debate. You must have time to gather sex-wise. The gender, I honestly have no idea how to treat that. That really kind of depends on
Sure.
how severe cases.
Sure. Can I add a couple things here? Maybe follow up with some questions. We talked about it earlier with intersex. It affects such a small percent of the population.
Yeah.
And most of these people actually have very identifiable, sexes. Generally speaking, it's not just right in the middle. It'd be considered, as we talked about, like the previous conditions you mentioned, men with these conditions or female with these conditions. That's often the rule with intersex. Not always, right? But as we said, we teach people have 2 feet. Now, some people don't have 2 feet. In anatomy class, we teach people have 10 toes. We teach people have 1 heart. We teach people have 1 head. All of these things have exceptions to the rule, right? All these medical aspects. So the point is, we don't use extreme exception to define our rules. As a matter of fact, that's how we consider those exceptions.
Yeah.
So biologically, sex, male and female, this is how it's been taught. I think we would all agree that, but sex has been taught that way. And then you've talked about gender. You said you're not entirely sure. So I would like to hear your thoughts, your opinions on gender, how that differs from sex, and how we define it.
Just by definition, gender is basically like your lifestyle, like choices, your lifestyle roles. So if you were saying,
Hey, baby, I want to take you on a date.
like,
By the way, would you like some water? I know it's hot out here.
no,
Okay.
I appreciate it. No, so like if you're finding roles, right? So like let's say it's important. So, just you ask a girl,
You say courting?
yeah.
I ask a dame. I go court a dame. I love it. You're just no, I like it. That's very respectful. Courting. That means you're a gentleman.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, you see a girl, you take her out, you asked her, you pay, typically this is how that goes. So that would be like your gender role as a man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned gender roles, right? And I hear that a lot. We say gender roles. So are we to mean that gender, as authenticated through whatever documentation we provide right now, or how we have to identify people, are we really just saying, is gender a synonym for gender roles?
Gender roles is the behavior of the gender. Does that make sense? So like how you identify somebody's gender is basically their lifestyle choice.
Well, I'm only asking this again. None of this has got you. I'm asking because when I asked you how gender was different, you said it was performative, it was based on behavior.
Yeah.
And then you said, but now.
Oh, this guy's boring me.
That's it. Your job?
I want to watch another one. Cheating and manipulation. Cheeto, you cheater, you cheated. I can't believe how many men said that. When I'm like, yo, I want multiple. I can't believe you would cheat on your queen.
I believe that men initially do really nice things for women because they want sex.
Yes.
If so, why would a woman ever accept an extravagant offer from a man if she wasn't interested in having sex?
She's manipulating him, man. Come on.
I mean, women like dinner and a good time, right?
Halfway. She can just live in that. That's why cut off your female friends. They're using you. You're not really your friend. They're dangling the pussy over your head. Like in the cartoons when the guy's on the treadmill, like a fat dude, and there's a donut in front of it, and you're just hoping you're gonna get it, but you're on a treadmill, so you don't get that. That's you with your female friends. You're hoping and running that you're gonna get some pussy, and she's just eating for free. Cut her off.
Isn't that leading a man on?
Not necessarily.
It's
fun to get to know somebody.
No. People do shit out of the kindness of their heart all the time,
But generally, don't men initially do things because they want sex?
Yeah, they're looking forward to something. It might not be sex, but they're looking forward to
Well, if a
something.
man's taking a woman to a $300 meal for the first time, I don't think he wants to be friends, does he?
No.
Nah, not necessarily.
Okay, so would it be safe to assume he generally wants sex?
You may want a hand job. That ain't sex.
Shut up.
Wrong.
Why would you say some stupid shit like that? Nobody's ever had a good hand job. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I'm a genuinely a nice guy, sometimes, sex is a bonus, but, I'm gonna say I'm a good 70-30.
Okay, we're not going to roof Chris if I didn't plan on having sex with you once, at least eventually sometime.
Oh, yeah. That's not happening.
There may be some men out there, I wouldn't say that accounts to all men, but I believe that men may wow or woo women in the beginning initially because they want sex. However, there are men that are truly out there looking for soulmates that may present themselves as being...
You're abusing that. Come on, yo. Maybe they want a soulmate.
more than what they are in the beginning to attract that individual, and then there's some that are authentic and true to who they actually are.
Okay. If so, why would a woman ever accept an extravagant offer from a man if she wasn't interested in having sex?
I don't know. Say some stupid shit. Say some stupid shit. Say some
I
stupid
think
shit.
as women, if a man is offering you gifts and you accept those gifts, you're leading him on.
Okay, cool.
If you're not planning on forming a relationship or become intimate with him, because ultimately he is expecting something back from you.
I mean, I think if you're the type of guy to just expect something, that kind of comes off as desperate, and that's probably not going to get you anywhere. You know, you want to be confident, but you want to be sure of yourself too, as well as being yourself. You know.
You see how much you got to do to navigate all that nonsense, bro? So Joy, thanks for the 5. It's complicated. Drops a new vid. React to that. Okay, right after this.
Oh, I mean, whenever you
I
go
love this channel, man.
into something and you're just expecting something back out of it, it's not authentic, and I think most girls can see straight through that.
If so, why would a woman ever accept an extravagant offer from a man if she wasn't interested in having sex?
Most girls are gold diggers anyway. They want what they can get out of anybody. It doesn't just have to be a man, it's anybody.
Isn't that leading a man on?
Definitely, most definitely.
Is it fair for somebody who leads people on to complain about being cheated on?
No, because...
Is it fair for somebody who leads people on to complain about being cheated on?
No.
No. Because you can't be cheated on unless you've committed to being in a relationship. So if you're leading someone on, that means you haven't committed to being in a relationship with that person.
W. Pomegranate said, since you started streaming, I went from 180 to 560 followers. Your clips are blowing up. Bots stay broke. Clip the stream, take it, make your TikTok go viral and shit like that. 10,000 followers, then you can get the creator fund. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to start an affiliate link for my website called The Creativity Kit. That's going to be my course, and every person who signs up from your link is going to start making bread. Look at him. He's donating money saying he's running up his TikTok. Someone got 36,000 followers, bro. You got to step your game up, Pomegranate.
So therefore, if he decides to date or partner with someone else, then no, he hasn't cheated. There's no commitment.
Does being in love require you to be vulnerable?
I must have time.
Yes, it most definitely does. It requires you to open up parts of yourself that you may typically guard. But in order to have a real intimate relationship...
She's the astrology, she's the spiritual. I mean, it's fine, but like, come on, you can tell by the hair, like, this, she has crystals.
You have to share those things that are closest to us.
Does it require you to be vulnerable? I guess in some aspects, because being in love sometimes, you know, clouds your judgment for some things you wouldn't normally do in the case if you really, really care about somebody like that.
When a woman leads a man on, do you blame the man for making himself vulnerable, or do you blame the woman for taking advantage of his weakness?
You blame the man. Women do not have to take any responsibility for nothing nowadays, bro.
Well, you know, a real man ain't supposed to be weak, you know, but I mean, a pretty woman that says the right things to a man, she could pretty much get anything from a man, so I'd have to blame the woman more than the man.
Really? What signs should a man look for if he's concerned about being led on?
Just if she's concerned about more about what he has in his pockets than what he has in his heart.
When a woman leads a man on, do you blame the man for making himself vulnerable, or do you blame the woman for taking advantage of his weakness?
I don't admire women who lead men on. I believe there are a lot of beautiful women in the world who know that they're beautiful, and they have no intent on being in any type
of... You know what it is? A lot of them don't even have to take responsibility for leading men on. They get to be like, well, if he wants to have sex and I don't, well, then that's just his problem. It's not even like they're consciously leading him on. They just take advantage of how desperate men are nowadays.
A long-term relationship, they just want what the man can provide them with. And good men who have good hearts, who are really looking for lifelong partners. So I don't support or believe in women who do that.
What signs should a man look for if he's concerned about being led on?
A woman who's not giving back.
Giving back means giving pussy. If you took her out on more than 2 dates and you ain't even getting no pussy, run. I'm telling you, bro. And they're gonna say, but she's more than that. But she's a connection, man. Bomboka! You know what you want.
And who is continuously, who he's spoiling, basically. A man can set himself up for that. He shouldn't be putting out gifts and paying bills and stuff like that in the very beginning when there's no commitment.
Do you think it's fair for somebody who leads people on to complain about being cheated on?
No.
Why not?
Say some nonsense. Say some nonsense. The mark of the... Say some delusional shit.
It just doesn't make sense.
You can't do dirty and then
be
not
upset
expect
when you're done dirty.
Yeah.
Okay, When a woman leads a man on, do you blame the man for making himself vulnerable, or do you blame the woman for taking advantage of his weakness?
Blame the woman for taking advantage, because regardless of gender, you don't take advantage of people regardless.
Okay.
They're kind of cute too. I'm just saying. Just take these off and DM me, baby.
Would blaming the man be victim blaming?
Yes.
What sign should a man look for?
But a man cannot be the victim. You just sound like a bitch. Nobody takes it seriously.
Or if he's concerned about being led on?
Does she put...
Bad chat. Some baddie right here.
actual, like, not just attention, like effort? Does she put effort into you? Does she actually want to listen to what you're saying?
When somebody cheats on their lover, do you typically blame the one who cheats or the one who drove the other one to cheat?
It's no driving you to cheat. If you cheated, you already had that in your mind. Didn't nobody make you do it, you know what I mean? It's just that might have been your excuse of why you did it, but nobody can make you cheat if you really care about somebody.
Right, they can make you leave.
Exactly, make you leave, exactly.
I typically blame the one who drove the other one away.
Well, why wouldn't that person just leave then?
Because most people are comfortable being in the position that they're already in.
Do you feel like it's easier for a woman to seduce a man or for a man to seduce a woman?
Woman to seduce a man.
A woman to seduce a man because a man's always willing to give it up. They don't give a fuck who they fuck, you know?
So if the answer is women, does that make it easier for them to cheat?
Yep.
I mean, people cheat regardless. And if they say they don't, they're lying.
But
who is more likely to forgive cheating, men or women?
Women are more likely to forgive it. That's the way it should be. Please don't say the wrong thing, guy. You said some wrong answers so far.
I don't know, 'cause I'm ready to kill a bitch, man.
Would you agree that it's women because men cheat wanting sex, while women typically cheat with feelings?
I say when a bitch fucks somebody else, that means they definitely got feelings for that person.
They've already checked out mentally. Women don't cheat for fun. Men cheat just because, like, it's just like what we do, bro. So it's like, oh, Cheeto, I am no beast of London. Come on, chill out, bro.
Men can fuck a girl and not even talk to her ever again in their life.
I mean, but that's a big misconception too, because a lot of females these days can, you know, fornicate and stuff like that without no kind of emotion, just like men can, you know, so that's kind of tough.
Why are men more likely to be able to have sex without intimacy than women?
Hello. Because we can make 10 bitches pregnant in an hour, and a queen gets pregnant one time a year. So naturally, biologically, they look for one guy. And men just want to everywhere. It's a simple question.
Oh man, because majority of guys are perverts. You know what I mean?
Wrong.
We get into the mood and it doesn't matter.
It's not perverted. It's just biology, bro. Why are you talking down on us like that?
Matter who's there, and then we're not gonna want to talk to them the next day.
So then why should men be held to the same standard as women for cheating?
Because most of the time when a woman cheats,
What time? You tell me I've been streaming this whole time, right? Let's just make sure that I've been streaming your channel. Yeah, I'm live. Just make sure that I've been streaming your channel. Yeah, I'm live. Just make sure that I've been streaming your channel. Yeah, much better now. Live. Just make. Well, either way, okay. Well, hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah. What more can we say? Alright, guys. See ya.